Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial on ESIE, Empire State Immersive Experiences. Today we're going to be creating a panorama tour. The panorama tour is a linked series of panoramic images so that you can conduct a virtual tour through an area. You can also put in hotspots that will let you link to content both in and outside of ESIE, such as documents, websites, videos, audio, and still images that highlight areas of interest. You need to be logged in order to do this, so I'm already logged in here. So we're going to go to the Create menu, and we're going to choose Panorama Tour. Now this is the Panorama Tour menu. First we need to give this a title. Let's call this Test Scene 1, just to make sure we have a unique title for it. And now we need to select a scene to start. It's a very good practice to add your panoramas to ESIE before you create a tour. You need to upload them as individual images first, and then you'll be able to select them here. And also you're going to want to add all of your scenes right now in the beginning of your tour, as opposed to near the end, because it makes building it a whole lot easier when you add everything in the beginning. It also helps quite a bit to plan out your tour. When I create tours, I'll take a piece of paper and I will map out physically the links that I want between the different scenes on the sheet of paper, so then I'll know exactly how things are going to go when I build these. If you've taken steps like that, it will go a lot easier to build your panoramas. So we're going to need to select a scene to start with, and we're going to do a tour of Delaware Park right now. So I'm going to start with the Delaware Park path, and I'm going to add that scene. Now you notice that appears here, and this blank menu here becomes Delaware Park path. We're going to add some more images right now, like I said, so we can put the links into them right away. So we're going to link to Shakespeare Hill Bottom. We're going to select that. We're going to add that scene. And it's going to change to Shakespeare Hill Bottom. And then we're also going to add Shakespeare Hill Top. And that'll give us a nice little 3-scene tour. So we'll add that. Now we go back here. Now all of these have now populated into this menu. So I'm going to start from the path. And this is the path with the initial orientation. If you notice when I click to drag, that these boxes over here populate with values, and a circle appears around where I clicked. So those are the yaw and the pitch, or the XY coordinates of exactly where that hotspot is going to go. And that will appear wherever you last clicked the image. It might get a little confusing as you drag around, but as long as you remember to click where you want to make a hotspot right before making the hotspot, you'll be good to go. So we're going to add a hotspot that has just some text to it. This is test text. We'll put that there, and let's say we want it here. So we're going to click there. We're going to see hotspot type. We want to keep it on text. We're going to add that hotspot. You'll notice this appears here, and when you mouse over it, you get the text that we put in the mouse over box up here. The mouse over text is how you will label your hotspots, and sometimes they will pop up like this, and you'll also use those as labels for your different linking hotspots. So, linking hotspots, we're going to connect this path to the bottom of Shakespeare Hill, which is over here. So, I'm going to start by filling this out, and this is going to be to Shakespeare Hill Bottom. And I'm going to make that another panorama scene. Now you notice these linkable scenes appear when I choose another panorama scene. Those linkable scenes are all determined by what scenes you have added to your panorama tour already, and you can't add scenes that are not, you cannot link to scenes that have not been added. So that's why it's a good practice to always add them first. So we're going to go to Shakespeare Hill Bottom. We're going to click right here to make sure it's where we want it to be. We are going to link it to Shakespeare Hill Bottom. And then we're going to add our hotspot. You'll notice the hotspot appears with this little arrow, And when I mouse over it, it gives me the text that I put over here. Now that's about it for here. If we click this when you're in the edit mode, it's only going to take you back to the initial orientation of this image, like that. So they don't actually work yet. But if we want to connect these two together, we'll pull down this menu here. We'll choose Shakespeare Hill Bottom. And now we're in the Shakespeare Hill Bottom image. If we pull over, that path was right over here. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to put the label to Shakespeare Hill Path, or to, let's call it Delaware Park Path. Delaware Park Path. I'm going to link that to Delaware Park Path. I'm going to add my hotspot. And now this label appears to Delaware Park Path. Now say I want to add my Shakespeare Hill Top. Well, that's going to be right up here. So I'm going to label it to Shakespeare Hill Top. And we're going to make sure that it's where we want it to be. We're going to select Shakespeare Hill Top, and we're going to add a hotspot. So now we've got this up here. So we've actually linked these three together. Now, you'll notice that I had to make reciprocal links between the park path and Shakespeare Hill Bottom. So if you create a link on one, it does not create a companion link on the other image and scene that you link to. So you'll need to manually create each of these, both on the path and on Shakespeare Hill Bottom if you want to do your tour. So let's say we want to do our Shakespeare Hill Top. We want to go up here now, and we want to make sure that we can get down to the bottom. Let's rotate around, and the bottom was right over here. We'll put that in there. We'll fill this in to Shakespeare Hill Bottom. We'll have it Shakespeare Hill Bottom, and then we'll add a hotspot, and it appears there. And it's really that easy to link everything together. That's why it really behooves you to plan it out beforehand. If it's all planned out, then it's just a matter of putting hotspots where you want them. Because if you make a mistake, you need to delete the scene and re-add it. So it's kind of a tedious process. So if you have everything linked out beforehand and you go into it with an exact knowledge of what's going to be linked to what, then it works really well. So we could also add different content here. Let's say we wanted to put information over here. And let's put information there. We could link this to another digital object, and if you start typing in here, it lets you open other digital objects that have been put into ESIE. This is where you would add audio files, video files, and things like that. If you wanted to create a tour of an area with associated histories, perhaps, like an oral history, you could have a hotspot here that links to an audio file or a video file of about the area. It's actually pretty powerful once you start using those together. In this, you can add other things. It doesn't have to be panorama scene, but this will also let you add the panorama scenes too, and be a little bit easier. Or you can link to an external URL, and you'll just put that in here. If I wanted this to go to the page about Shakespeare in the park, because they traditionally are right here every year, then I could put that into here, and on click it would link me to, when I clicked it, it would take me out of ESIE into the Shakespeare Parks website, and then I could learn a little bit about those. So you can really link a lot of different things together through this. It just really helps if you plan it out in the first place. So once we've got these, so we've got all three of these linked together, you come down to the bottom here, and then you can move on to the next step. This is where your collections would be. If you have a specific collection that this belongs in, you would add it here. We don't have any of those at the moment, so we're going to skip that and move on to the next step. The attached files, allows you to upload a single image to be used as a preview or like a landing page for your tour. If you don't put anything in here, the landing page will be the very first image of your tour. It'll show that when you search it. It'll be the thumbnail, will be the very first image of your tour. Or you can create a custom image that you would upload here. Once you're done with that, we can save our metadata. We'll come to the preview, the complete page, and we're going to save it. Once it's saved, you'll actually get a preview of your scene here. And it has been created. It is in your database. It is on ESIE now. It isn't published yet, but it is on here. Click to load your panorama. And here we are, back at the path. Over here, there's our test text. Over here, if we click this to Shakespeare Hill Bottom, that takes us to Shakespeare Hill Bottom. There's our reciprocal link back. And then if we want to go to the top of Shakespeare Hill, we can go right up here. And that's how you create a panorama. You can go back and add individualized metadata about this panorama, or it can be pulled from the metadata that already exists for the images that you've used to compose it. It's really not all that difficult, just a little bit fiddly, but once you get used to it, you can create some really immersive and interactive tours of an area. I look forward to seeing what you guys will come up with. Thank you very much for bearing with me, and I hope this has been informative. Take care, everyone.